Alright guys, just going to do a quick video this morning. Feminism and MGTOW. MGTOW is nothing like feminism. And you've got to understand even feminism today is not like feminism was. When people were talking about rights, which is where a lot of the feminism stuff was driven, they had a lot to argue about. And I'll give them that. At the end of the day, I agree a lot of that stuff was actually relevant. But a lot of stuff today is often just angry women that just want to whine. And I'll say that with if you watch the videos linked to that woman who screwed everything up in Morocco and everything, I firmly put the blame on herself. Now, whether the guy was doing something or not, I don't think he was, but at the same time, she got herself into that situation so easily, it's ridiculous. But her responses actually show what is wrong. As somebody put a quote of hers up there relating to her being an empowered woman, and she didn't think she had to change or be something different. Because one thing she did say is she didn't feel like I didn't feel like myself. I felt I had to be another person. I'm like, you're an idiot. Now, that is her stuff. That is feminism stuff and all this. It's often about blaming other people for own mistakes. Now, MGTOW is recognizing the issues in society. This is why it's different. Because feminism is constantly, I want to be this, and you should let me do it, and I'll do this. Like with the Me Too stuff. It doesn't matter if you're breaking the law or not, we'll go after you in social media. It's basically like a network of trolls in some cases. But on the other side, what you've got with MGTOW is a movement that is particularly focused on personal development and personal preservation. And you will get people go, well, that's selfish. That's selfish. It's always selfish when it's coming out of someone else's pocket. It was like I said, I was watching Newsnight the other night where there was a guy there sat there going, oh, well, the NHS, we can get money from taxing people that have more savings because they save for inheritance for their children. Yes, that works well. Let's not bother working as well, and somebody else can pay for that as well. But once you start stacking in that direction, why do you think Venezuela and other countries in the state they're in? Because everyone moves. They don't want to be there. Parasitical nations don't do anybody any favors, and parasitical people are nothing but a whining nation that expect that they can live off the back of others, which is where the benefit class comes from. It's not a functioning society, and it never does function. But one of the problems you get with that is this is where people want it in your pocket. People do want to live off the back of others. People do look for people that have the opportunities they can take from. This is why, if you read things like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's recognizing that even if you wanted to help the poor, it will eventually come out your pocket. It won't come out the top. It never comes out the top. They set the laws. They've got tax evasion. They've got the best accountants, blah, blah, blah. They're never going to pay it. It always comes out the middle. Even when you take it to the simplistic terms of like when the old fuel strikes. Remember the fuel strikes in the UK for the truck drivers, and cars and motorists come out and support. As soon as the truck drivers got what they want, they dumped the motorists. That's the support you get. Now I know that sounds a bit, but that's it. I've got what I want. Thank you very much. And that's pretty much how many things function in the world, whether we like it or not. What I find with MGTOW is it's not like feminism at all. A lot of it is personal development. A lot of it is recognizing the opportunities that are there as well as the risks. If you reduce the risks, you increase your opportunities. That's why when somebody asks me, how can I talk about MGTOW when I'm married and got a traditional marriage and everything else? Very, very simple. It's personal development. A lot of this stuff is just protecting yourself financially, but also it's recognizing opportunities. A lot of the guys out there may do stuff that are manual labor, but they may not have thought about doing stuff in the evenings and stuff that could pay their mortgage off early. Or it may be the fact that somebody's in their 20s and about to walk into a relationship where they're going to lock themselves into it for the next 40 years if they're not careful. At the end of the day, there is nothing that says you should get married. There's nothing that says you must get married. And the reason I bring this up is because marriage is a religious ceremony. And even with this one where they're talking about civil partnership, I go, okay, yeah, but so everyone gets 50-50. But if somebody puts 10% into the marriage, why am I giving them up to 50% of my assets? Yeah, but that's unfair. No, it's recognizing that marriages fail. It's recognizing that, a few guys in the YouTube genre of the Philippines have admitted that their perspective changed going to the Philippines, for example. And like I said, there's 100% fail rate of guys I know that were married that went to the Philippines. So it's not just the women decide to change the way they are. Guys open their minds up. That's why I say the first thing to do is travel. If you're young, travel. Get experience. Get a bit of knowledge behind you. Because it opens up all the options. The other thing is, today's society, whether we like it or not, is a selfish society. And as a selfish society, there is nothing wrong with being independent and living on your own. I remember having this discussion with somebody before, and they were saying, well, you'll end up sad and lonely because you want to be like this or that. It's like, no, I won't. Because there's nothing wrong with being independent. There's nothing wrong with having, like myself, I've got traditional marriage, etc. But at the same time, if I wasn't with my wife, would I be sad and lonely? The answer is no. I'd be traveling. And if I wanted companionship, it's not difficult to get. This is the other thing, where people assume that you can't get a woman in your own country, you can't get a woman, blah. I've never been short of women. Here in Spain, there's it's full of them, especially amongst the expat community. My God, there's a ridiculous amount of women here compared to the men. So I would actually say that's completely incorrect. But also, when people say it's like as if it's some sad, lonely men's club, it's not. I mean, generally, I find the MGTOW stuff fairly upbeat. I've got to admit, some of it, when you look through the YouTube stuff, you can see, I mean, if you go on people's radio shows and things, radio shows are often baited anyway. I mean, that's the whole point, they're selling media. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm really pushing. I don't really think they're pushing anything beyond selling media half the time. But ultimately, I do find that MGTOW is quite positive and does push some stuff in the right direction, which is why I'm quite happy to promote it. Thanks for watching.